Hello, my name is Russ and I am 19 years old. This is really my first attempt to make a video. This is really a starting point of what I hope to be a successful stream of videos. But I'm going to start somewhere small. So I'm going to start with vlogging, which is basically where you just talk in front of the camera for a few minutes about any topic at all. But what I'm going to vlog about in this video is something we don't really think about a lot. Something we dismiss. Well, not dismiss, we don't take any notice of it. Well, not a lot anyway. Well, I don't seem to. Yeah. Seeing yourself, being aware of your movements and your actions. When we live our daily lives, we meet people, we talk to them, we see them, and we sometimes do things with them. So we know what they look like, we know how they move, we know how they stand, we know how they walk, we know how they behave, we know how they talk, and we know what their voice sounds like, which is something I'm going to talk about, what your voice sounds like. But a lot of the time, we're not actually aware of how we move, how we walk, how we stand, or what we even sound like. And the only thing that we can use to find out is to use a camera or to use a microphone. Because if somebody tells you, that's only what they see, that's only what they can hear, that's what they get, that's the impression they get off you. And I will give you some examples. I've actually been acting for a good few years now. I dropped acting last year to study for my exams before going to college, but I took up acting again this year. But I have learned very recently that I behave and act and move in such a way that I didn't really think was possible. Okay, that sounds a bit dramatic, but I acted and moved and did things differently than what I thought I did. I had this idea of myself in my head of what I was like, but then again, I never knew how I walked or moved, or even how I talked. And believe I got this camera recently enough, a few weeks ago, for my 19th birthday. And I've been shocked by the way I talk or the way I move. Because when I took a few videos, I didn't take too many of myself, I only took a few because it's brand new and I'm not exactly fond of selfies or any of that sort of rubbish. Seriously. But anyway, and I saw the way I use facial expressions and the way I position myself. It's quite different from what I thought. I noticed that I wasn't smooth. And yes, my family did point it out to me before, but I could see it. Well, someone else would see me and think I was smooth, but from what I thought, I got a shock. And also the voice that was recorded on the camera shocked me because I always thought I spoke in a certain way, but I never really knew what I sounded like. And now I'm going to introduce a little soliloquy into this video. I was with an acting group for 2 years, and I left them last year, and I did 11 projects with it, with this group, but most of the stuff we did were plays, stage plays. However, we did do a couple of other types of projects. One of them was that 3 of the projects were radio plays that we recorded. And I only heard one of them. We recorded these plays 2 years ago, back in autumn to winter of 2011. And a few months after recording the first one, about a few months to half a year, I heard the first radio play that we recorded. And I was shocked. Well, not really shocked, I was surprised. That's a better word. I was surprised. Simply because, well, first of all, I played 7 different characters who spoke in different ways. I made them speak in different ways, actually, because I had to. So if they all sounded the same, that would be just lame. But lame isn't the right word. It wouldn't be seen as good acting, or good voice acting, should I say. But the voices of the 7 characters I played, with different personalities, they all sounded very similar, which I accepted because I'm not really a brilliant voice actor, and I haven't had a lot of experience. And like I said, I'm not completely aware of what I sound like unless I record my voice on a microphone or on a camera, like I am right now. But the other thing that I was surprised with is that even though the voices sound similar, they didn't sound like what I thought they would. In other words, I always had this idea that my voice had a certain tone, not a tone, a certain accent. I always thought that my voice was sort of light-ish, with that purge of masculinity. But then again, that's because I hear the voice from the inside of my mouth. So I'm really only what's going on in there and not out there like everyone else. Everyone else knows what I sound like, but I don't. But when I heard myself on the radio play I heard, and in the few videos I took with this camera, which is in front of me right now, my voice sounded deeper. It's quite surprising, actually. Now, if anybody else heard the plays or saw the videos I took, they'll be okay with it because they're hearing my voice all the time, and if I talk to them enough, they will know what I sound like, and lots of people do know what I sound like. But when I hear myself in a recording, I get a shock. It's quite awful, actually. My voice doesn't sound as nice as I thought, in my opinion. Yeah, my voice sounds nicer when I hear myself talking, but in a recording, no, I'm kind of put off. When I heard myself in a video once, and I sounded like my cousin. I won't tell you who because you won't recognize him. And with other people, I know exactly what they sound like, what their voice sounds like, but if they heard themselves in a recording or in a video, they'd easily get a shock too. Not unless they took lots of recordings of themselves or were in a lot of videos or programs or films. So, for example, if you were a film actor or a TV actor who did a lot of shows or did a lot of films, you would know by this stage what you sound like, what your voice sounds like, and how you move. If you did watch what you starred in. but not a lot of people did. And I'm not just talking about voices. The way we move and the way we walk is also something we're not aware of. And I have been doing some very strange things, and you might have noticed from this video I might have pulled a face or fidgeted. Well, actually, I haven't been fidgeting, have I? I don't know. That might have been a fidget. But when we move, people see how we move, how we walk, how we position ourselves. I meant how we position ourselves. I mean, what our posture is like. And people can sometimes tell how confident we are when we put on certain postures. But we don't, unless we're looking in the mirror. That's really the only time when most of us see ourselves, and we don't even hear ourselves properly at that point. We see ourselves in the mirror and we instantly adjust ourselves to make ourselves look better, if that's what you do. But we don't look in the mirror very often. There's a big mirror over there in my room. The last thing is that self-awareness and knowing what you're like is very hard for us. I mean, to know what we are fully like, and to really know what the world's impression of us is very hard to find out. The impact of how we move and how we behave, the impact that has on the world around us, will not be known to us simply because we are very aware of ourselves a lot, and we are in our own our own souls are in our own body. And I guess at the end of the day, not unless we record ourselves in cameras or record our voices on microphones, we don't really know how we move, how we behave, or how we act. And I guess we won't really know what people actually think of us and what we are really like. We probably won't know what we are like, because when people tell us what we're like, they might be too generous, or they might be too mean. And there aren't a lot of people around who are very honest about us, towards us, if you know what I mean. They don't lie to us, but they have our feelings in mind. So seeing yourself is very difficult, and which is a reason why a camera, or even a video camera and a microphone, those are actually very good inventions, because they're a way of us finding out what we are like without human bias. And before I go, keep in mind that we might not know we might never be able to see ourselves completely. Okay, let me say something. No, that I take that back. It's very important that we see ourselves like right now. but we don't often see ourselves, and we just our identity is really a mystery. No, well, not our identity, our character really is a mystery to us. If you think about it, that's my opinion. That's all I have to say.